Genesis 15, a chapter that holds a conversation so profound, it forever changes the course of history. Here, under a canopy of stars, Abram speaks to God heart to heart, and we witness the foundation of a promise that shapes the destiny of nations. Let's step back in time to a quiet night in the desert and see what lessons it holds for us today. As our story begins, we find Abram in a moment of introspection. Despite the wealth and success he has accumulated, a shadow lingers over him. He has no children to inherit his legacy. On this particular night, God comes to Abram in a vision, a deeply personal encounter. "Do not be afraid, Abram," God says. "I am your shield, your very great reward." But Abram's heart is heavy, and he voices his deepest fear, "O sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless?" In response, God leads Abram outside. "Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." This isn't just a call to observe the night sky, it's an invitation to dream, to imagine the unimaginable. God is painting a picture of hope and abundance, promising Abram that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars. In this moment, Abram chooses to believe, and this faith is credited to him as righteousness. It's a turning point, a decision to trust in God's promise, despite his current reality. God wants to seal this promise in a way that Abram will understand, through a covenant. In ancient times, covenants were solemn, binding agreements. Abram prepares a heifer, a goat, a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. He cuts the animals in two, arranging the halves opposite each other, creating a pathway between them. This pathway symbolizes the space where the covenant is made, a sacred corridor of commitment. As night falls, a deep sleep overcomes Abram, and in this state, God speaks of the future, of hardship and redemption, of slavery and liberation. It's a promise that spans generations, a foretelling of the Israelites' journey. Then, something extraordinary happens. A smoking fire pot and a blazing torch pass between the animal pieces. This imagery is rich with meaning. Fire often represents God's presence, His purity, and His guiding light. The covenant concludes with a breathtaking promise. Abram's descendants will inherit a vast land stretching from the river of Egypt to the great Euphrates. This isn't just about real estate, it's about legacy, identity, and a place in the world for Abram's lineage. It's a promise that will be tested by time, doubt, and hardship, but ultimately, it stands as a beacon of God's faithfulness. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that Genesis 15 is more than an ancient story. It's a tale of longing, of conversation with the divine, and of promises that outlive the stars under which they were made. It teaches us about the power of faith, the importance of asking our deepest questions, and the beauty of believing in promises that seem as distant as the stars. If this story has touched you, if you've found yourself looking up at the stars and wondering about the promises in your own life, then join us on this journey. Subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts and reflections, and become part of a community that seeks to find meaning in these ancient texts. Until next time, keep looking up, and keep believing in the promises made to you, even when they seem as countless as the stars.